Hello, my name is Solomon Waters, and I'd just like to say all of us are going somewhere good compared to where we've been. And I'd like to talk about alcohol abuse and how to overcome it. One of the first things we realize in Spiritism is the importance of those who are with us and how they affect us. And what we learn through study in the Spiritist groups and through reading the books within the Spiritist literature, the Kardec books, the Andre Lewis books, we understand that we have many friends around us, discarnate friends. And for the alcoholic, it might be surprising that the alcoholic often has many friends who also like alcohol. So one of the very first things we have to really understand in order to either help an alcoholic, or if we are suffering alcoholism ourselves, we have to understand that there are many spirits around us who are frustrated with their own addiction that they cannot satisfy anymore because they no longer have a body, and they are vicariously indulging their addiction through us or through the alcoholic. So it's very important that we look into the ambience around us. And how can we do that as a Spiritist? Well, the study groups are very good at raising our vibration and helping us to not only learn more about spiritual reality, but also help those around us learn more and give them an opportunity to leave their addiction as well and maybe be treated and be helped in the spiritual world. So it's important not to isolate oneself when we have an addiction, although it's very tempting to drown our sorrows, sit alone in our room and be sad because we don't want the addiction. It's not helpful to us. So we really need to reach out, and motivation is really the most important thing. As a trained therapist myself, I've trained in hypnotherapy and neurolinguistic programming and in shamanism from Hawaii, Huna. I realized that, it's difficult. The most difficult thing about alcoholism in some ways is watching an alcoholic destroy themselves and really wanting them to change. And that's not our job. We cannot force them to change. So in many ways, we also have to balance ourselves as friends, supporters of those with addictions or with alcoholism. We have to balance our expectations. We can pray and we can invite to a Spiritist group. We can also encourage them to join a support group, because that can be very helpful. For example, Alcoholics Anonymous or a 12-step program. And that may give them specific help from their peer group, some who have already overcome alcoholism and can help them. And the main thing is really to be aware of the ambience, to think of prayer, think of a routine of prayer, and crowd out the bad energy with the good energy. So pray twice a day, pray in the morning, pray at night, get into the habit of prayer, find out through the Kardec books, what is prayer? What prayers might be useful for an alcoholic? What prayers might be useful for someone who's desperate, maybe even suicidal at times because they are struggling with the addiction. Remembering that there is no real shame in having a problem or an addiction or suffering. We all suffer. We are all on a journey towards a better future from a past where we struggled, all of us. And we've had many lifetimes coming to a better place and coming to a wiser place. So some things that can help are also doing the change work. Maybe we suffered in our childhood and that's what the drinking is about. So finding a therapist, someone who, you know, like myself, is trained in hypnotherapy or NLP or timeline therapy or whatever it is. There are many, many different therapists out there. Whatever someone is drawn to, they could also offer specific help to the alcoholic to start them on a path of leaving behind the cause. And you know, joining with the others, as I said, is very useful. And not only in study, which is very, very useful for ourselves, but also for the spirits around us, but also consider gospel in the home, which is a really great way to raise our vibration, because we need to look at the spirits around us as having a big influence on our own behavior. So if we are able to educate the spirits around us and make them more temperate, make them wiser, more curious about spiritual reality, we can change the ambience in our home, which makes a big difference to our habits. So doing that, committing to 20 minutes once a week, is not a big ask. And for an alcoholic or anyone with an addiction or troublesome behavior, that will really make a big difference. The home will become stronger and stronger spiritually, and will become a sanctuary and a much easier place to moderate one's own behavior and one's thinking. And doing that the same time every week, and also using that as a time at the end of that just to ask a question from whoever is, you know, assisting us, our guide or our mentor. You know, maybe we have one question: what shall I do about my addiction at the moment? Or, you know, can you give me one, you know, little guidance? You'll find that as you're regularly committing to something, your guides have a chance to know where you are and know that you're in the right space, and they can help you. And as you get used to that ambience, you know, just asking one or two questions at the beginning or the end is useful. Another possibility is finding a mentor, as happens in the 12 steps, having an individual who may help us, like an ex-alcoholic or somebody within the Spiritist community who's available and willing to stand in that position, who we can ring if we're really desperate. Someone, you know, who could just say, look, I'm available. If you really get desperate, just give me a call and I'll have a chat with you. You know, that could be really useful for an alcoholic, just to feel they're not alone. As I say, prayer is very useful. And showing solidarity with others is very useful. So look at also the little things, finally, is my point. Sometimes the little things are very important. What small thing could you do to really change your home and make you feel more special? Buying a plant, you know, going out and doing something that makes you feel good about yourself and changes your state of mind. Drink plenty of water, herbal tea, juice, eat healthily with plenty of fruit and vegetables. These little things also make a big, big difference. But above all, be strong and commit to your future, because your future is far better than your past, and we all trust you. God bless you.